Okay, go.
Hey kids, it's me, the real Annelid man. My comic books exaggerate a little bit about the muscles, but I'm still a really great wrestler and as well as an expert on annelids. So come a little closer and I will teach you about what I do. Hurry up. Are you ready? Okay. Well, first we should probably start out with the path of the taxa. It goes from metazoa, which is really all animals, period, that aren't protozoa, that multicellular animals, and then protostomia, Lophotrogozoa, Annelida, and we're actually going to be talking about Gjdkxk today, which is my specialty. Annelids in general, there are many kinds of annelids. You have earthworms, you have leeches, you have a bunch of different kinds of things to see. But you have marine, freshwater, you have terrestrial, they're everywhere. They're not the largest group, but their size doesn't really define their importance. They're very important in a lot of ways to our soil and plants as well, and other animals. The largest group in Gjdkxk are the earthworms, and this is a rough diagram of an earthworm. This is its mouth. It has a very tiny mouth, but nonetheless it has that mouth, and an anus. It has a complete digestive system, and that is something I'll explain more about in a minute. Their most interesting aspect is that they have segmentation. What this really means is that every segment along their bodies, each one of these segments is repeated. It's almost like a whole body being repeated over and over and over again, except for their head, which is composed of 3 parts, and you would just call that the prostomium, and that's kind of the sum of the head. And most are terrestrial and freshwater forms, but there's some marine, and that's not a very useful statement in some ways because they're not all terrestrial and freshwater. There are more than 3,000 species of them. Like I said, it's not as large of a group as some of the other groups, but they're still extremely important. Without them, we don't really know where we would be. They have a closed circulatory system. They don't have veins and arteries like humans do. They do have what we call hearts, but they're not in the same fashion that you would just know like that. And this is the clitellum. Most people have seen this just by picking one up when they're fishing. It's not really as much part of the body as it is kind of an addition. It's used for reproduction, and it works its way down the body, and as it goes over the genital pores and picks up eggs and whatever it needs on the body to reproduce, and it fills up this cocoon. It runs off and it drips off like a cocoon, and that's how they reproduce. So this is Gjdkxk in a nutshell. There is really a lot to these animals. There's a lot to any animal. They're not as simple as they look all the time, but yes, they are very important to me, and this is what I do.